Hotep family, and welcome to the African History Classroom. I'm your African History professor or instructor, Professor Hicks, and welcome to another broadcast. Um, Today's broadcast is a little solemn as it relates to as the impact of the president or the king continues to overwhelm our news organizations, our media, as well as our sense of being on in this country. Um, Part of living is experiencing bad moments, of course, but experiencing good ones too. But it seems as a country right now, as a collective, we're doing more of the bad stuff than we are the good. So it's a tough thing. So without further ado, in remembrance of two tragedies, please listen.
We all have heard that an ICE agent tragically killed Miss Renee Nicole Good. There's been constant protests and outrage, and rightfully so. But have you heard about Keith Porter Jr.? An ICE agent killed him too, 7 days before Miss Renee Good's death. So, two ICE shootings left two American citizens dead 7 days apart. One victim was a white female, the other victim a black male. The government accused both of them of endangering an ICE agent's life, which led to their deaths. But the media told their stories completely different. So here's some background information. On December 31st, 2025, an off-duty ICE agent shot and killed Mr. Porter. Family and friends said that he was shooting some rounds in the air in celebration of the new year. He was a caring, compassionate, 43-year-old black father of two from Compton, California. Local news covered his story, but national media, they barely noticed it. Now the question is Miss Good's life more important than Mr. Porter? Of course not. So what is the difference? You see, here's the thing that people miss about both of these stories. In Miss Good's case, national outlets questioned the government. They focused on her humanity. They called her a mother, a poet, an activist. And they showed videos, they amplified the protests, and they demanded accountability. But in Mr. Porter's case, media repeated the government's label of being an active shooter, a threat, a gunman. And yes, his family tried to humanize him, but only local media was interested in his humanity. Unlike Renee Good, Mr. Porter's humanity never led the story. Same government accusation, but his race was different. Thus, the country's reaction has been different. And that is not accidental, because much research shows national media gives more attention and sympathy to white victims than black victims, despite the fact that black Americans suffer far higher homicide rates. So here's the bottom line. When we let others control our narrative, we just gave them our power, our agency, and they will decide whether we show up and how we show up. That is, whether we show up as humans or as dangerous animals. This is why black-owned, independent, national media matters. If we don't tell our stories, others will erase it or distort it or even weaponize it against us. And remember, stay woke.
Okay. So as I mentioned, this is somewhat of a somber broadcast. Um, but black folks, what do you think about that? It still continues. It, you know, in America, it rarely matters what the tragedy, the atrocity, or event. When it comes to the media, telling our story, it's never ever told plainly. I was feeling very strongly like this gentleman who just finished with his broadcast when I first heard the poor young lady was shot. But I said something different. I didn't think what I was thinking would come to fruition so quickly. But, I said to my partner, my friend, that's my wife, I said, you know what? White folks are finally getting a taste of what it is to live in our skin. And I doesn't mean I doesn't sympathize with Miss Good, because I'm on their side. But I am on our side first, black folks. This is exactly the problem with America. It just, you know, how are we ever going to heal this madness if America doesn't take responsibility first and foremost for its oppression and atrocities against black people, and then secondarily against native people? How are we going to begin this healing? It's never going to happen. You know, I was reading from Dr. Joy DeGruy's book, and she talked about her experience in South Africa, and that when she got there, she tried to pick on people, white and black, to tell their story about apartheid. And what she got was a great surprise. Well, from the white folks, they simply said, yeah, we did it, we admitted to it, and we want to move on from our past. Then from the black folks, she kind of got the same thing. Yeah, it happened, we did it, but we're trying to move on from our past. Now, you should know that the South African government, during this time of apartheid, as it was breaking up, had a Truth and Reconciliation Committee hearing. I forget how long it took place, but during these hearings, many whites and many African people came up to testify about their experiences with apartheid. Many whites testified to the fact that this apartheid was happening consciously, unconsciously, and that they were perpetuating it. Yes, white folks admitting to doing wrong. So one of the reasons, though, Dr. DeGruy analyzed why she was getting these types of responses from black and white South Africans, because as a psychologist herself, she realized the effect and the healing effect of disclosing. Yeah, disclosing the things that are in you that are just evil. Only way to say it. But disclosing them, admitting to them, and not denying them. Dr. DeGruy says the reason why America is still wallowing in racist beliefs, attitudes, and behavior is because we have yet to heal. We have yet as a country to admit, particularly to black people, that you are racist, white supremacist, racist attitudes and beliefs, prejudice, privilege, all these things white people do and have, but none of them, particularly collectively, particularly as a government, wants to disclose, admit, or at least say that they're in denial. And as long as this continues, it's what we see out of Donald Trump is going to continue. It's going to continue. It ain't over. White folks are starting to understand how we have been living for 350 years or 400. Trump doesn't care what color you are. Like many of the people who oppressed us didn't care who we were, whether we were children, whether we were little girls or little boys. And for the media, in this state of condition that we are in with this crazy president, for the media to still have this narrative of destroying our humanity, taking away our humanity. By the way, culturally, they almost got us. They got almost everything a part of our culture. The only thing I don't believe they have yet is our humanity. But we're slowly sliding down that slippery slope already. Matter of fact, that's where we are superior than white people. Our humanity. Our humanity has shined for millions of years. These folks have no idea what humanity is, except copying maybe from someone else. Because there is no way you could commit the atrocities. I'm just going to use atrocities without trying to get too wordy with this. And commit them consciously on a group of people and not be sorry for it or not bother you or not affect you and be human? Are these people human? I heard a gentleman last night, he went through the whole litany. And when he was finished, I was like, whoa. And he was asking the same thing about white people. Are they human? Where do you want to start? You want to start with the Native Americans, who they massacred and eliminated? Do you want to start with the in Australia, the Aborigines over there, who just destroyed and killed them all? Do you want to start with the Spanish in Mexico and Latin America, destroyed and killed everyone? Do you want to start here in America, slaughtered, annihilated Native American people, and then enslaved us? And then finally, what many people don't study is the enslavement of their own people in Europe during the feudal age, during the Middle Ages. Yes, they seem to practice on their own people first, and then they turn to us. Where is their humanity? How does the media, in the midst of all of this craziness going on, forget to mention this gentleman, Keith Porter Jr.? Say his name. Say his name. I've watched every media outlet you can imagine because I'm a broadcaster, so it's important that I bring truth and reality to my listeners. So I do my homework. I listen to every platform, pro and con, so that I can bring my message and it be truthful. Nowhere did I hear anyone mention this gentleman's name. It won't, you could protest all you want, white folks. You could protest all you want. Ain't gonna matter. Because what you haven't realized is that you have to give it up. You got to say to black people, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And when that begins to heal, the Creator and my aunt will feel the balance come back. You will start to see things change, not only within your own life, but how you treat others. Forget about black people, anybody. Because disclosure and admitting and talking about these things helps us deal with us. The first person that gets straightened out when they start to disclose and admit is you. And that everyone else will come into play. How is the media still doing this? That's why we're doing the right thing. Stay at home. Stay home. Don't go out there, because they're coming for us. But we know. We know they're coming for us soon. We're ready because we've been ready. Our humanity is going to save us. What's going to save you, white folks? What's going to wake you up? Everyone should be outraged over this woman who got shot like that. And everyone ought to be outraged over this brother who was shot like that. But not a mention. Not a mention. Sadly, we are not moving forward. All right? And I'll even say that for some of the black folks out there on podcasts. I haven't heard anything from them as well. You see, that's why I said when I did my broadcast for the Black Rebellion as it relates to the American Revolution and the upcoming semi-quincentennial, that we have to tell our own story. We have to build our own media networks. We have to stop watching the news. I tell my wife often, why are you watching the news? They're not telling you anything. Oh, a cat just ran across the street in southern Mexico and got hit by another cat. Can you imagine a cat hitting another cat? That's news. That's news. Or some incident that happened in, of course, some suburban town that we're not familiar with. That's news. But they couldn't find a time and a place for Keith Porter Jr. Keith Porter Jr. Keith Porter Jr. Say his name, black folks. We can't worry about what white folks want to do anymore. They don't want to be a part of this. They think they're going to end their troubles with this Trump guy when he's gone? No. Because there's going to be another demagogue out there. And they're so easy to rile up these folks. You know, white folks, you are the easiest people to be manipulated. Every election going back to almost to Lincoln, you were manipulated, told falsehoods and lies, and you believe it, and they know it. Your leaders know you. They know how to get you going, and you fall into the trap. That's because you hate us so much. It's okay. It's okay. Because times are changing. You know, you're looking into Europe, and you see the population declines that are going on in England, Portugal, Spain, Italy. Their populations are in steady decline. No reproductive efforts there. Only way they're surviving many of those countries is because immigrants are coming in there. They're going to pick up the workforce. You see, because you can't do something to someone and it doesn't come back to you. You know, all the countries I just mentioned, let's think about them historically. Let's take Spain, for instance. We came in and saved the Europeans in Spain. We saved the world twice. So we go into Europe, into Spain particularly, and we clean it up. We cleaned them up. They weren't even washing their asses. We showed them culture. We put them on the right track. And what did they do? They threw us out, sold us, enslaved us after 800 years. Look at them now. Look at Spain now. It's a blight. And do a comparative analysis. Look at Spain when they threw us out and enslaved us when they were world's greatest superpower. And look at them now. You know, these things don't happen overnight. They take hundreds, sometimes hundreds of years. But Ma'at and the Creator is speaking. Look at England, same thing with them. They were a superpower. Remember? And what happened to them? They had no superpower no more. They also have a declining population. Look at Portugal. Let's not even talk about Portugal. They're just poor. But they were the kings one time. They were the first enslavers in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, Portugal. Look at them. Don't hear much about them. Denmark. Look what's happening to Denmark. The Trumper, the king, is threatening to take over one of their countries, Denmark. These people enslaved us as well, very quietly. Not only did the Dutch get away with it, they were down with this slavery. They were brutal slavers. And look at them. Every country that enslaved us, every country that oppressed us, are doing very poorly now. You can't do this to people and think you can just walk away and it's going to be fine. These things come back because there's something in life called balance. And I don't mean God's revenge. I don't believe God revenges anything. God is too omnipotent to be thinking about revenge and jealousy and all these things that Europeans have laid on God's lap. They're crazy. God doesn't do that. You're trying to equate God with human emotions and values. God is bigger than that. The Creator is bigger than that. The ancestors are bigger than that. They don't look for revenge. It's balance. Yes, it's balance. And things cannot stay out of balance for long. There has to be a time for homeostasis, and which simply means things are back to being balanced. And for right now, they are terribly imbalanced in our favor. Or should I say out of balance? So give me your thoughts, folks. Don't forget to subscribe, like. Tell me what you think about this Keith Porter Jr. and Renee Good, Keith Porter Jr. Say his name, folks. It's Keith Porter Jr. Okay. So, with that said, I am going to sign off. I will be back on with a new topic. Our new topic moving forward is Black Woman, Mother Goddess. Yes. Our saviors, Black people. Our women. Mother of civilization. With this new thing now, I hear everybody talking about. I mean, I taught this in college, but the Eve gene now. Everybody's talking about the Eve gene. Yeah, only one human species has the Eve gene, and that is Black women. Our treasure, our hope, our mother goddess, the Black woman. I exalt her. And I had to learn. I was like many of you Black brothers out there. We weren't treating our sisters right. At least I wasn't. Not all together, but every day, as I said before, I live to be a better person than I was the day before. And the first way I do that is treating my partner, my wife, my soulmate, like she is a goddess. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about our women goddess and give you a couple of things. Listen to a couple of stories about how our women fought oppression and repression and prejudice and so forth and so on. Okay? And we're going to exalt them for a bit. We're going to tell some of the stories that they did. All right? So these segments, I hope, are going to last about 15, 20 minutes the most so that you can get it in and ingest it in. All right? But our next topic is Black women and Mother Goddess. Then we're going to do something on Haiti. And then, of course, back to the Black rebellions. And hopefully this takes us all the way into July 4th, 2026. The semi-quincentennial celebration of 250 years of American Union. And what was our role? Our narrative. We gotta tell our own story, folks. We need one of you young folks out there to beginning a radio station that's telling our story. A news station that's telling news about us and our story. That's what we need. Of course, a whole bunch of other things, but that would help. And with that said, I'm going to say, family, remember, say his name, Keith Porter Jr. Keith Porter Jr. We must look out for ourselves. No one else is. Sure, we empathize with those who lose their lives to whether it be ICE, a police officer, whoever. We have humanity. We will never lose our humanity. White folks, where is yours? The media, stop watching this television, folks. Get away from the news. It's a lie. They're not telling you the truth. All right, find your own truth. And with that, I'm going to say Ashe. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow. I'll be broadcasting for about 15 to 20 minutes tomorrow. And we're going to start with our Black Mother Goddess. We're going to conclude, though, with our PTTS, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, PTSS. We're going to conclude and give you a little reading on the end of Dr. Grove's book, and we're going to move on, and we're going to start talking about some different things. And what I say with that, I say be careful out there, Black folks. Be careful. Stay home. Stay home. It's their time. It's their turn to do the work. Let them do the work. We support them. I support that. I love all people. Whoever they are, I love them. Even the Latinos who hate us. How many people saw the Venezuelan group out there calling a brother out there, a Black brother, supporting their situation in Venezuela? And what did the protesters, they called the Black brother a nigga. Go home, you're not a part of us. We have to forget these Latinos, man. They don't care about us. We have to be the same way, folks. I'm sorry. I'm not one of these Martin Luther King guys, man. You know, you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. You come at me, I'm going to come at you. But we have supported this community too long. And no matter where they go, they don't like us. I've watched videos of black people going into Latin American communities and someplace. Many of them are good. I'm not saying that. But we have to be careful with them as we do with white folks, because they don't love us. And they proved it time and time again. We opened the country up to them. They were able to come and live off what we did, off our work, hard work, our dying. They are enjoying the benefits like other immigrants. They wouldn't be in this country if it wasn't for us. But they still continue to call us nigga. I wasn't too hurt by it because I have a few Latino friends. They love me. I love them. That's it. I do no more advocating. No, sir. I'm going to worry about our folks. And that's what we all should be doing. There's nothing wrong with that. Dr. Clark called it the selfishness of survival. The selfishness of survival. Right now we're in survival mode. Once we're out of survival mode, we can do old kumbaya again. But everyone's looking out for themselves. Black folks, you better start doing it too. And with that, I'm going to say, Ashe.